Over the first 19 years, the Daily Trust National Dialogue has emerged as arguably the most important forum for our political, economic, and social conversation as a nation. Each year, in January, the Daily Trust Dialogue affords us a welcome opportunity to talk to one another and reflect on the most important issues that affect us all as a nation without rancor and partisanship. Let me also thank Madam Ifoku, Dr. Kabiru Adamu, Murtala Rufai, who today will talk to us about 2023 the politics, economy, and insecurity in Nigeria. On many occasions, our statesmen and women have used this opportunity to speak to the nation and the world, to speak to the leaders and the people about the things that hold us together as a country and a people, and about the challenges we all face. In this wise, previous chairmen of this event have included former President Olusegun Obasanjo, former President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa, former President Goodluck Jonathan, President Buhari, and my humble self, to mention just a few. I am therefore happy to be in the company of these illustrious sons of Africa. Whatever we discuss and agree today, we hope that the authorities will take it as advisement in good faith and work with it. In my own experience as a leader, I have found that collective wisdom is all better than individual ability. The state of the nation. Today, what is the state of our nation? Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is once again at crossroads. Insecurity remains the single most difficult challenge for our country today. The Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, violent secessionist agitation in the southeast, kidnappings and abductions of travelers across many states all continue to fester in the land. Add to these ethnic, religious, and communal conflicts are rearing their heads very ugly again in many parts of the country. All of these have greatly challenged and overstretched our security forces. These challenges have caused thousands of deaths and millions of internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Nigeria over the first 13 years. According to the Global Conflict Tracker compiled by the U.S. Council of Foreign Relations, CPR in bracket, some 350,000 persons have been killed and 3 million displaced directly or indirectly in the conflict in the Northeast since 2009. Also, a report by the Beacon Consulting, a Nigerian security risk consultancy here in Abuja, Nigeria has recorded 574 cases of kidnappings and 431 confirmed fatalities in security incidents that cut across 29 states and 96 local government areas in December 2021 alone. Your Excellencies, about 75% of the kidnappings and 57% of the fatalities occurred in the Northwest. This is a clear indication that the epicenter of insecurity in the country has shifted from Northeast to Northwest. Ladies and gentlemen, a major cause of insecurity in Nigeria is the proliferation of all caliber of weapons in Nigeria, in particular, and in West Africa sub-region generally. For example, in 2018, Small Arms Survey estimated that there are over 6 million of such weapons in circulation in Nigeria. This has certainly exacerbated the insecurity situation we face in the country. The economic outlook. Ladies and gentlemen, insecurity in the country is worsened by our dear economic situation. In the first 3 months or so, economic growth rates and inflation has improved somewhat. The economy grew by between 4 and 5% since June last year, continuing the recovery from the near economic collapse of 2020. Inflation figures have also dropped to 15.4% from the 4-year high of 18.17% in March 21. All these figures I'm quoting are contained in the 2022 budget breakdown and highlights presented by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning earlier this month. But, let me add, the impact of these numbers on the lives and well-being of the ordinary Nigerian is suspect. Unemployment or underemployment remain at the record levels, and over 80 million Nigerians are still caught up in needless poverty. All of these tend to have negative effects on security. In fact, Nigeria now faces a food security crisis that is confounded by the COVID-19 global pandemic and the banditry in many states in northern Nigeria. Both of these have disrupted the fragile value chains across the country and negatively impacted the ability of Nigerians to produce, process, and distribute food. The result is a continuing rise in the prices of food items beyond the reach of many Nigerian families. On top of all these, Your Excellencies, fuel prices are expected to rise significantly in the coming months, as announced last November by the NNPC. We all know when this happens, as the government has planned, it will push many millions deeper into poverty. Young people and women are the demographic groups most affected by the country's dire economic outlook. For example, estimates by the National Bureau of Statistics show that while the national unemployment rate stood at 33% by the end of 2020, unemployment for young people between ages 15 and 34 years was 10% higher at 42.5%. Already, calls for restructuring Nigeria and for reviewing the Constitution have reached fever pitch. There are calls, too, for how the resources generated in the country are shared by its constituent parts. Also, For the first time in Nigeria, southern governors have ranged against their northern counterparts, each demanding the presidency for their region. Meanwhile, some groups would like to balkanize the country and go their separate ways. In addition, ladies and gentlemen, politicians across all parties are already jostling for power at all levels. Some are using inflammatory political rhetoric to achieve their ends. Others are stoking political fires that will be difficult to put out even after the elections. Some, yet again, are lying low, looking to spring surprises on their opponents. Worse still, political rivalries are sometimes turned into personal fights between the supporters of one politician and another. This is a very dangerous situation. In some instances, these rivalries have degenerated into violence and death. None of this, ladies and gentlemen, is new in Nigerian politics. And yet, none of them has been fully resolved. It appears that Nigeria is stuck politically in the same place, and our democratic experiment has refused to grow beyond these issues, even after more than 60 years of national independence and self-government. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, all these developments make 2022 a very crucial year for the country and its people. Whatever we do or don't do this year will linger for a long time to come. This election year calls for statesmanship and patriotism. It calls for restraint among all politicians in words and deeds. And above all, it calls for serious social, economic programs that will help pull Nigeria out of the wood. Having said all this, what is the way forward? The way forward is, as we enter into this important election year, I would like to use this forum to send a few reminders to us all. Let us all remember that despite all the challenges and threats, Nigeria remains one. For this, we give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for keeping us alive and the resilience of Nigerians. Our unity and our large and youthful population remain our greatest strengths. We must not compromise these. Instead, we must consolidate on them to chart a way out of current challenges. As we in the National Peace Committee have been doing for years now, all stakeholders must work with an open mind towards building peace across the country. The government should redouble its efforts and channel more resources towards securing peace. Your Eminence, you and the traditional leaders should support the government towards securing peace for our people. So also the religious leaders must put their hands on deck. Without security, we all know there is no country. Your Excellencies, our political class must realize that the fate of Nigeria lies in its hands and choose to do good in this moment of history. As the gesture for power in the coming elections, all politicians must watch their words and deeds carefully and avoid saying or doing things that will further heat up the polity. We must all remember that no one can rule over a nation in ruins. Leadership is a collective responsibility, and we must all play our parts positively. The electors must do their job and elect people of their choice. They should not sell their voters' card or their freedom. Your Excellencies, in November last year, this government, through the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, unveiled a national development plan with an investment size of over 348 trillion naira. This investment is expected to be funded collaboratively by both federal and state governments and by the private sector. If implemented faithfully, the plan will build infrastructure all across the country, expand the private sector, develop social services like all health and education for all Nigerians, and create millions of jobs for our teeming youth over the next 5 years. Obviously, there is not much time left for this government to achieve all of these. But I'm convinced that the scale of this investment is precisely what Nigeria needs now. So, regardless of party or political differences, the next government can embrace this plan and use its blueprint for our collective development. It has the potential to make Nigeria another success story so that we can take our rightful place among the Committee of Nations.